In southeast Turkey, there are moments of hope. Survivors found amid the destruction. How well buildings protected residents played a significant role in lives saved and lost. Before this, Turkey was aware of the risks. The edge of the Anatolian plate runs through the country, and it's at these boundaries, where one of the Earth's tectonic plates meets another, that friction can build up and be released as an earthquake. Now, this is a broad overview of the earthquakes Turkey has experienced over the last 120 years. You can see they're frequent, although there are long periods between quakes with a high magnitude seen at the top of this graph, events often connected with a greater loss of life, shown here by a larger circle. And it's this knowledge, this opportunity to prepare, which has made some angry about the performance of construction in the region where thousands of buildings collapsed.
Earthquakes are actually a part of our lives, our history. So we live in a first-degree earthquake zone as a country. However, we turn this into a natural disaster with an unsensible, opportunistic or greedy manner, I mean.
We'll come back to Turkey in a moment, but broadly, when a building is being designed, one main concern is whether the structure can withstand the weight bearing straight down. At an earthquake, though, it shakes a building in all directions, and if horizontal forces aren't considered, they can tear joints apart. Now, this is a model of a Turkish housing block during an earthquake. Anything red implies that part of the building crushed, anything blue is a fracture. Engineers have lots of ways to tackle this, from rubber shock absorbers and expensive dampers, such as those used in the Torre Mayor skyscraper in Mexico City, to allowing parts of the building to crumple, just like a modern car during a crash, absorbing energy to try and protect life. What's notable about the images from Turkey, however, is that some buildings appear to have completely collapsed, with floors stacking on top of each other, what's known as pancaking. This is the worst-case scenario when it comes to earthquake performance. Now, after the 1999 quake in northwest Turkey, which killed more than 17,000 people, investigations found many construction faults, including the use of corrosive beach sand in concrete. Turkey reacted by updating building regulations several times, most recently in 2018. Regulations now considered consistent with the best US or Japanese code. There will still be significant numbers of older buildings not covered by these, which you might expect to still perform poorly. But look at this image of the Turkish town of Izlahiye, particularly this white building over here. Google Street View shows it was still being constructed in 2020, the weight of the floors suspended above a large empty shop space. Now, that is a difficult design to survive an earthquake. And despite the regulations, recent satellite image appear to show that it completely collapsed. The same is true for several recently constructed buildings on this street. Elsewhere, advertisements have circulated appearing to show buildings claiming to comply with regulations, buildings which collapsed. It's these kind of examples that some suggest show codes weren't tightly enforced. But engineers warn that until investigations are complete, not every collapse is a clear sign of design failure.
There are two massive earthquakes that have happened in fairly rapid succession. And so we see images, for example, of buildings that have survived the first earthquake and are standing, and then are collapsed by the second earthquake event. But, you can't design it for two such large events when it's already been weakened and damaged.
Critics, however, point to Turkey's numerous construction amnesties, most recently in 2018, which allowed illegal buildings to be given a certificate of approval if they paid a fee. Arrests followed Turkey's 1999 earthquake. Investigations will have to determine whether things could have been better this time around.